In this video, we're gonna be cooking and tasting 100 years of hospital food. And yeah, I went to medical school just so I can make this video. Starting off with 1910, where a doctor's salary was $1,500, and this is what the inside of a hospital looked like.
In 1910, hospitals served more basic and simple foods, so it was easier to digest. And this was like before they invented like refrigerators, so like that technology wasn't really around. One of the more popular dishes in this era is when they took meat, boiled it, and then threw it into a blender and made this like meat puree. I mean, it just looks horrific. But luckily, that wasn't the only thing they served. So in 1910, it was meat puree, porridge, applesauce, hard-boiled eggs, and milk.
Okay, here it is, 1910. I brought my friend Bryan to come taste test everything with me. Starting off, I mean, that meat puree just looks
Let's go, dude.
awful.
Me and you, bro.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh. I can't.
Basically, you see the color of this thing, how it's like gray and like discolored and there's no life in it? That's what it tastes like.
I mean, they still serve some good stuff. We got porridge here, which I could dig in. That's delicious.
That's very good.
I would hate to be a patient back then. I would just ask for the porridge. Well, if I had to go ahead and rate this meal for 1910 and taking everything into consideration, I'm still gonna give it a 1 IV bag out of 10 because it is absolutely disgusting, especially that meat puree.
I think 1 IV bag is a little harsh.
What?
I'm gonna give it 3 IV bags because I feel like this is edible, this is edible, this is edible. Like you're still getting a good meal, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
but it's not, there isn't that much flavor in that
the
porridge.
entree, not good.
It's so bad. All right, well, let's hop into 1920 and see if it's any better.
We're now in 1920. The first ever bubblegum was invented. The average doctor's salary was about $3,000, and this is what the inside of a hospital looked like.
The 1920s was the discovery of vitamins, which led hospitals to focus more on nutritional dense foods. They started hiring dietitians to help with meal planning so patients would recover more quickly. But if I was in the 1920s and they served me boiled chicken, I would probably start feeling a lot more sicker. Then again, World War I just ended, and I just want to get out of the hospital. So the 1920s is boiled chicken, whole grain cereal, soup, pudding, and milk.
All right, we've made it to 1920 and it already looks 100 times better than the last decade. Boiled chicken, not my favorite, but Bryan just told me he has boiled chicken with barbecue sauce.
Often.
Here we go, cheers.
Not bad.
Not much flavor, and it's just salt and boiled chicken.
This is gonna take a long time to chew.
It's a jaw workout. They also served some whole grain cereal and soup, which, hey,
We're going to soup first?
yeah, I'm going with the chicken noodle soup.
Let's go.
Oh, that is so like comforting. If I'm in the hospital in the 1920s, like, I'm pretty happy. I'm not happy I'm there. I'm not happy I'm there, but dinner time,
Yo.
I get a little excited.
Yeah, this is like mental hospital food.
I'm pretty happy. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 5 IV bag out of 10.
5 IV
Yeah,
bag.
right in the middle. I think it's all right. I'm not happy or sad about it.
All right. Yeah, I think I can go with you. Yeah, 5 IV bags. It's pretty solid. You know, I'm a big fan of boiled chicken, so.
Let's go into 1930s.
We're now in 1930. The Empire State Building just got completed. An average doctor's salary is about $5,000, and this is what the inside of a hospital looked like.
So in the 1930s, therapeutic diets became way more refined, and you're probably asking yourself, what is therapeutic diets? It's basically very, very distinct eating plans meant to help specific medical conditions or diseases. So for example, let's say you have high blood pressure, they would give you a meal plan that reduced your sodium intake, increased your fruits and vegetables, and limit you on sweets. Another interesting thing about this era is that prohibition got repealed, so hospitals began to like integrate certain alcohols into like people's that can you just imagine like getting drunk at the hospital? Like, so in the 1930s, hospital food was codfish, whole grain bread, canned vegetables, canned fruits, and fruit juice.
You know, I'm not a big cooked fish guy. I like sushi, I like raw fish, but cooked fish, I'm not so happy about it. But let's go ahead and give this a try. This is cod fish right here. Cheers. Not bad. That's actually really good. I mean, it was the only fresh thing, except for the bread, on this plate. Let's go ahead and try the canned vegetables.
So what are these white things in the veggies?
I think they're, I don't know.
Potato.
You think they liked it at the 30s? They're like, hey, this is actually really good. I really like this thing. Who made this fresh veggie plate?
Is that how they talked in the 30s?
Yeah. Like, do you think they loved it?
I think so. They must have been like, this is a marvel.
They still stuck to the whole grain diet and gave us some whole grain bread.
Bread and fish, baby.
Bread and fish. Decent. It's just not doing it for me. I'm gonna go ahead and rate this a 3 IV bag out of 10.
I'm gonna go 2 IV bags.
Ooh, why?
I know we're eating hospital food and it's supposed to be bland and
Yeah.
healthy or whatever, but even like the quality of this is just really like the quality of these veggies
yeah, it's
and
not bad.
this and the bread. It's just like a low quality meal, except for the fish.
Well, let's go into the 40s and hope it's a little better.
We're now in 1940. The microwave just got invented. The average doctor's salary is $8,000, and this is what the inside of a hospital looked like.
In the 1940s, this was the peak of World War II, which had a huge impact on hospital foods. They had to ration a lot of their foods, especially meats, sugars, and even like certain fats. But thankfully, they had access to a lot of canned foods, which had a longer shelf life and helped them during this time. But just imagine being in like the hospital in the 1940s, how horrible that was. Like your nurse came in and said, we can't give you any meat. Like here's some bread and cheese. I'll see you later. There were hospitals that started like their own victory gardens to supply some of their food. But again, it just wasn't enough. So in the 1940s, hospital food was bread and cheese, oatmeal, fruit pie, orange, and milk.
Let's do it. What are we starting with? The
Let's start with the grilled cheese, you know? Well, it's not really grilled cheese. They just gave like bread and cheese. I mean, pretty delicious though.
there's definitely some
patient.
wartime food.
This is definitely wartime food. They also had some oatmeal, and Brian and I were just discussing, we have oatmeal almost every morning.
That's right.
It's my favorite breakfast, so I wouldn't be too mad with some oatmeal here. Pretty good.
This is the way Pat makes it.
This is the only way to make it.
He makes it the 1940s way, right?
Okay.
Every morning he cosplays 1940s style. Like,
Dude, don't tell everyone my secret. And of course, milk. You know, they served milk because they were like, oh, it's nutritious, the cheese is nutritious. They was just trying to get people fed and not dead. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 6 IV bag out of 10.
dude, 6 IV bags is way too high for me.
No, I think it's great.
It tastes okay. Doesn't taste amazing. Dude, for me, this is like a 2 IV.
2 out of 10?
2 IV bag.
What? That's crazy. I mean, all right, let's just agree to disagree and head over to the 50s.
We're now in 1950. Alaska and Hawaii just became states. The average doctor's salary is about $12,000, and this is what the inside of a hospital looked like.
We've now entered the 1950s. World War II just ended, so this was the baby boom era. A ton of soldiers came back from war, and they kind of got busy making babies, which of course increased the amount of hospital births, and so they had to kind of change their menu to make it more child-friendly and maternity-focused. And since there was a ton of people coming to the hospital, they kind of had to make the food a little bit more convenient to prep, so they used a lot of like frozen foods at the time. So in 1950, hospital foods was roast beef, frozen vegetables, apple, jello, and orange juice.
We're now in the 1950s, post-World War II era. I mean, things are looking up. I'm excited. Let's go ahead and dig in with this roast beef.
The decadent 1950s.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Delicious. So delicious.
That's so good.
A little bit of frozen vegetables on the side. Yummy. Super delicious. I mean, I'd be sad that I'm in the hospital, but happy that I'm having roast beef. Definitely in the
Right.
hospital.
Yeah.
Got some fresh apples on the side.
Can't
You
go
can't
wrong
beat
with
that.
fresh apples.
And if you've ever been at the hospital, you know they've been hooking you up with this Jello. I've been to the hospital a couple times, and I always remember to give you a Jello on the side of your meal if you ask for it. Fantastic. And they thought they were being healthy with some orange juice on the side, but it's definitely just sugar. Oh yeah, sugar. Overall, decent decade. I'm gonna go ahead and rate this. I mean, if I'm giving bread and cheese a 6 out of 10 IV, I'm gonna also go ahead and one level higher because we got the roast beef. I'm gonna go 7 IVs out of 10.
This is super nostalgic for me, but it's also really good quality. You know, the beef
Yeah.
is really nice.
Definitely.
And the Jello's good and the apple's fresh. I'm gonna go ahead and give this 10 IV bags out of 10.
Whoa!
I'm giving it a 10. I just don't see it getting better than this. I'm pretty sure you can't get this quality roast
But you
beef.
know what? We're gonna get to the present decade.
Yeah.
For now, let's hop over to the 60s. Let's go.
We're now in 1960. The first ever Super Bowl just happened. The average doctor's salary is about $20,000, and this is what the inside of a hospital looked like.
Okay, we're now in the 1960s, and the immigration in America increased by a lot at this point. So hospitals started incorporating food that were for more of like a broader demographic. Hospitals also started realizing that food presentation mattered a lot. If the food looked appealing, patients would eat it. And so they were starting to refine a lot of these things to make the experience a lot better. So in the 1960s, hospital food was pasta, soup, simple salad, yogurt, and tea.
We're now in the 1960s, and this was the era where immigrants started coming more and more into America. So hospitals started accommodating to the food that comforts them. We got a tomato soup, we got a simple salad. some yogurt.
Looks pretty solid. Looks pretty modern too.
Yeah, it looks very modern. Cheers. If I'm an immigrant in the 60s, I came to America, I don't know, I broke a leg, I'm in the hospital, they give me some of this food, I'm like, I'm never leaving America. This is fantastic.
If I'm an immigrant in the 1960s, I probably wouldn't go to the hospital. I'd probably be scared that I'd be deported or something, man.
And they also served some delicious tomato soup on the side. I mean, this is just simple, but packs flavor. I'm a happy camper. And as dessert, to keep us somewhat healthy, they gave some yogurt. Protein, probiotics.
Oh, this is delicious. Wow.
It's all cozy.
Holy cow.
And then some tea on the side. I love this. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and rate the 60s an 8 IV back out of 10. I mean, fantastic. I feel at home. I feel comfortable. I feel like I'm gonna get better very soon.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and agree. 8 IV bags out of 10. Solid meal.
Solid meal.
Really good.
All right, let's head over to the 70s.
We're now in 1970. Star Wars just got released. The average doctor's salary is about $50,000, and this is what the inside of a hospital looked like.
In the 1970s, hospitals started offering patients more choices in their meals. They started slowly realizing like, hey, if we just satisfy the patient, it could positively impact their health outcome. So one of the moves that hospitals made was to offer fast food as an option. I mean, listen, if I was a patient and I got some McDonald's fries, I would probably jump out of bed and start dancing, you know? So in the 1970s, hospital food was chicken, McDonald's fries, whole grain snacks, fruit cup, and milk.
Here we are, 1970s. This was the era, like I said, they introduced some fast food into the hospitals to make people feel comfortable. But obviously that's not all they give. They give some chicken. Nothing like a good, simple fried up chicken.
Can't go wrong.
Not at all.
Never gets old.
Never gets old, and I prefer more over boiled chicken. And especially boiled chicken with barbecue sauce. Right after, I'm gonna be going for these delicious, and we all know McDonald's has the best French fries. Comment down below if you agree.
There's definitely no fries missing from this, so we didn't take any fries before we record.
Yeah, trust me, we're not lying.
Yeah.
When I worked at Domino's Pizza, I actually delivered pizza at the hospital.
For patients?
For patients, there was one time I delivered a pizza to a patient. The doctor came out and said, "What are you doing? You can't give that to the patient." I go, "He ordered it." And then there was a big argument of like,
damn.
yeah. I was like, "You gotta get out of here." I'm like, "Well, he has to still pay for the pizza." And then the guy in the room was like, "I want the pizza." It was like crazy. It was chaotic.
That's insane.
Yeah. You know, to balance it, they gave some whole grain snacks.
Look at this one. I got a double. It's like perfect. Look at
That is perfect. Delicious. Whole grain. I feel healthy right after eating some of that McDonald's French fry. They also served up some fruit cups.
Fruit cocktails are very common in hospitals, schools.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like so easy to preserve, you know? Pretty happy with this meal, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this a solid 5 IV bags out of 10.
What? How did you say everything amazing and then go 5 IV bags out of 10? I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 7.5 IV bags out of 10.
7.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was delicious. All right, let's head over to the next secchi. Let's go.
It's the 1980s. MTV just debuted. An average doctor's salary is about $90,000, and this is what the inside of a hospital looked like.
In the 1980s, some hospitals started testing this hospitality service. So basically, it's just like room service, like when you go to a hotel and you can order food whenever you want. It's not like scheduled like it was before. And for patients, this was like amazing because you just picked up the phone, ordered some food, and boom, it was like right in front of you. Also, dietitians were starting to work directly with the patients to meal plan. Of course, they were keeping in mind to still meet their nutritional needs, but they were talking directly with the patients to figure out what suits their personal taste so they don't hate the food that they get. So in the 1980s, hospital food was beef stroganoff, mashed potatoes, scrambled eggs, pudding, and coffee.
People could just order whenever they want.
Yeah, you just ring a bell and you get beef stroganoff to your room.
Beef stroganoff. Right this way, son. No,
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's okay. Something tastes like mayonnaise about it.
There's sour cream in it.
Oh, okay.
Dijon mustard. It's not bad. It's a creamy dish. I don't know if I would order this.
Yeah.
I'd be like, can I just get a burger, please?
Right?
And I also served it up with some mashed potato on this side. You can't go wrong with a good mash. And then pudding made a comeback in this decade.
I don't feel like there's like nutritionists. Are there nutritionists in the 80s?
There were dietitians for sure,
dietitians,
but
okay.
what they were actually focusing on was more of like, they started realizing, hey, if patients have the food that they like, it usually linked to them getting cured a lot quicker.
okay.
Again, I'm not a fan of the beef stroganoff, you know, whatever. It's just kind of a simple whatever meal. I'm gonna go ahead and give this decade a 3 bags.
3
out of
IV
10.
bags? I think I
Yeah.
can agree with that. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
give it 3 IV bags. That beef stroganoff is not.
Not there.
Not that
I
pleasant.
would have taken a burger instead. But let's go ahead and hop into the best decade ever, the 90s.
We're now in 1990. AOL just came out. The average doctor's salary is $150,000, and this is what the inside of a hospital looked like.
We're now in 1990, and some of you might love it, and some of you might hate it, but this is where plant-based diets became more prominent inside hospitals. They saw an increasing amount of patients that were vegetarian and vegan, so they wanted to provide more nutritional meals that didn't involve meat-based diets. And because of that, they had to retrain hospital chefs and service staffs on how to prepare these foods and not have cross-contamination. So in 1990, hospital foods was veggie chili, vegetable stir-fry, simple salad, fruits, and apple juice.
We got ourselves a vegan chili here, so let's go ahead and give it a shot.
do it.
Cheers.
Not bad.
That's not bad at all.
Not bad.
Dude, I like it.
Me too. Would it be sacrilegious for me to say that I want to put this on a hot dog?
It's not a bad meal at all.
No.
Even as a non-vegan, I actually really like this meal. So I'm gonna go ahead and rate this dish. Honestly, I'm gonna give it like a 7.5 out of 10 IV bags.
Yeah, in the context of like being in a hospital, you're trying to get better. You probably don't want to be eating like cheesy chicken sandwich or something or some steak. So yeah, I think I can agree. 7.5 IV bags for this one.
Nice. All right, let's head over to the next decade.
We made it to 2000. The first ever iPhone just got released. The average doctor's salary is about $200,000, and this is what the inside of a hospital looked like.
Welcome to the 2000s, and this is where hospitals wanted to step up their food game. So they partnered with professional chefs and culinary schools to improve the quality of their food. What their goal was with that was to bridge the gap between institutional food service and like a restaurant dining experience. I mean, a lot of people have said that they failed at that. I think it's a tough thing to nail because you're serving so many people every day that it's hard to hit that top quality. But you know what? At least they tried, you know, and that's what matters. So in the 2000s, hospital food was grilled salmon, brown rice, steamed vegetables, rice cakes, and water.
Grilled salmon, I mean, that looks good to me. I would love that if I'm at the hospital with a little side of like rice and veggies.
I guess the salmon, but everything else, I don't know. It looks kind of bland, but I guess we're gonna have to find out.
Like the rice cakes, like that's so boring.
I hate rice cake.
I hate rice cakes, but we're gonna have to eat it. So let's start with the salmon though. Cheers. That's delicious. And then the rice, the brown rice.
Let's see.
I think the combination of salmon and brown rice just go together so well.
Yeah, what is it? Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe it's like the taste of dirt with the taste of fish. And then they had the steamed vegetables. Boring. Boring. And last but not least, for dessert, they had rice cakes.
Man.
I don't know if this was dessert, but like, listen to this. It's like dried nothingness.
Tastes like cardboard.
And it sounds like cardboard.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go ahead and rate the 2000s. I think for the most part, the salmon and rice held this dish up. But again, you got the water, which is a little boring with the veggies and the rice cakes, just not for me. So I'm gonna go right down the middle and go 5 out of 10 IV bags.
Yeah, 5. I'm gonna go a little higher. I'm gonna give it 6 IV bags because, like, you know, I'm in the hospital. I'm sick. I'm getting salmon from a chef. I'm getting some brown rice. You know, I'm getting nutrients, and I'm feeling optimistic that I'm going to be getting out of here soon. So,
all right, let's go on to our last decade.
let's do it.
We're finally in our last decade, 2010s. Game of Thrones just got released. The average doctor's salary is about $300,000, and this is what the inside of a hospital looked like.
We're now in 2010. I mean, we've learned a lot up until this point. Hospitals are providing even more customized meal plans to patients. They went from having hospital chefs to culinary experts. Some hospitals even collaborating with celebrity chefs. Yeah, celebrity chefs. Technology is is even getting integrated more than ever inside hospitals. For example, you had to call in your food orders back then, where now you could basically use an iPad and have food at your door. I mean, the list goes on and on. To think where we started and where we are now, hospital foods are just a complete different experience. So in 2010, hospital foods are turkey meatballs, fruit smoothie, jello, steamed vegetables, and herbal tea.
We're now in our last decade, the 2010s. Well, this decade, I mean, again, we got some meatballs.
Here you go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Be careful, it's hot. Dude, how did you, is it hot?
Perfect.
That was delicious.
That was pretty good. Yeah, not bad.
I'm getting meatballs. Cauliflower broccoli, it's like, what do you guys do? I know, it's like you guys are trying to give me healthy stuff, but like, it's so bland and boring.
I'm a big fan of cauliflower and broccoli, actually. So, pretty good.
I get it. We got the herbal tea and we got the jello. Look at this. Yogurt and jello is like a staple in every freaking hospital.
Because it's easy to digest, right? It's easy to eat.
It's perfectly sweet.
I'm excited for this.
Oh, the
Can I try
smoothie,
this?
the fruit smoothie, yeah.
It's pretty good. It's good. Yeah, I'd be stoked to get that in the hospital.
That does taste healthier than like most smoothies.
Yeah.
But still, I'm not complaining. I'm at the hospital, I'm trying to get out. You know what, Brian? After eating all this food from every decade, I think I'm starting to feel better.
You know what I'm thinking? I think it's time to get out of the hospital, dude.
I think it's time to get out of the hospital. You know, I'm just like, just get this thing off of me. Let's get this off. Get this off. Let's get out of here, dude. Get out of here.
You threw it on the food?
Oh my God, look at that. All right, there